The views and opinions expressed in this content are that of a continuously evolving nature and are subject to change as humanity evolves into higher states of awareness.
When I'm walking around, I look at things in a new light because since I've increased my levels of awareness, I see things differently. So I might be walking along the street and I'll see like a tree. I'll literally stop and I'll look at the tree like this, like it's the first time I've ever seen a tree. I'll touch it and people look at us like, who the fuck is this guy? Do you know what I mean? People look at us and as if to say like, what is he doing? Like, is he even from this planet? And you can kind of liken this to like an alien coming to this planet from another planet where everything's different. And that's a little bit what it's like. I've also referred to this as being like a child, being in child consciousness again, where everything's new and you're seeing everything from a new set of eyes again. And one thing about this is when you reach this level of awareness where you don't care what people think, then they kind of are more intrigued by you because you don't care what they think, okay? A lot of people wouldn't dare just stop in the middle of a busy place and look at a tree as if it's the first time they've seen it, because they'll be worried about what other people think of them. But because they're worried about what other people think of them, what's that doing? It's creating a reality in their consciousness, in this matrix, which tells them that everybody's bothered about what they're doing. Everybody thinks of them in weird ways, okay? And this is what creates this state of being where you're very paranoid, where you think everybody's looking at you. And this creates that reality because in your perception you think everyone's watching you and judging you. And yes, they might judge you, but like I've said before, when you reach these levels of awareness, you don't care what people think of you because the joy of being in that present moment, it totally outweighs the displeasure of someone thinking that you're weird. So when people think I'm weird now, I really don't care, okay? Because I don't care, it's now getting to a point where people are not thinking I'm weird, okay? They're like, sometimes when I look at things, people will walk past and they won't even look twice. They'll just say, oh, that's just a guy looking at that tree and admiring it. Whereas before, people would look at us thinking, what's he doing? So I think that's because I've now created that different future based on my perception. So in my perception, if I think there's nothing wrong with looking at things for the first time ever, exploring this reality with a new set of eyes, and I think that's fine, it's now constructing the matrix around me to kind of incorporate that in it. So other people are walking past and they're thinking it's fine now. So this is how your reality changes with time. And if you're going through a bad time and everything's depressing you, or you're very anxious about life, all that's doing is creating that construct around you. So it's manipulating the physical matter to create that reality based on your perceptions. And I think there's multiple realities and we're switching through them simultaneously billions of times a second based on our perceptions, thoughts and beliefs. And I think this is happening with everybody. So if somebody's next to me now, their reality is not the same parallel reality as mine. It's totally different. But I've come into their reality for a reason, they've come into my reality for a reason, based on both of our thoughts and perceptions. So there's something called the grandfather paradox, I believe, and that's when somebody said, well, if you go to the past and you kill your grandfather, you would simply just cease to exist. But what I think's happening here is I don't think that's the case, because I think that reality that you go to is a totally different parallel reality to the one you're in now when you're having this idea of doing that, you see. So even if you did go and kill your grandfather in a past life, I think that you would still exist because that was a totally independent, different reality with a different past, present and future. And because everything in this universe, everything in this matrix that we see now in our current reality, everything is happening simultaneously, okay? So every single possibility, every frame of mind that you can be in, every single outcome is all happening simultaneously, but our conscious perception is kind of flicking through them billions of times a second based on what we want to be true. So I really think that that's the way reality's working, guys, and that's the parallel universe theory. Very, very similar to it. but I don't think the scientists quite understand the metaphysics of it yet and how it's really impacting our lives. But one thing I've noticed is that as soon as I change the now, that then changes the future, you see, because if you're in a now state where you are appreciating everything and life is a joy, then joyful things come in the future, you see, because you're not only changing the now, you're also changing the past and the future in that present state of now, because that's a different parallel reality. So the way we get to this stage is we can either learn by experience, because there's a lot of people who don't learn by experience. There's a lot of elderly people out there who think the world's a horrible place and they're still in this low mindset. So when they pass over, what I think's happening is we've got like an oversoul that chooses to come to this reality so we can increase our levels of awareness and learn. So when they go back to that oversoul stage, they'll still be in the state that they were here. So that means that they might choose to reincarnate, possibly, if reincarnation's real. We've had no proper evidence of this yet, but it does make sense based on this theory. So they might choose to come back here so they can increase the levels of awareness, so they will enjoy going back there, because whenever you pass from this reality, I think you still have the same knowledge and perception of life as you do when you're here. And I think that's why we choose to come here, so we can increase our happiness and increase our levels of awareness to points where we can use it outside of this matrix, outside of this construct. So it's like a learning ground for increasing your levels of awareness. And this is done by experience. I think this is done by age. Age is a big part of it, because the older you are, the more you experience. You can do it by choice if you choose. You want to learn these things, choose and work on yourself. Okay, like look at things in a different light. Take yourself out of the mainstream culture, out of what the news is telling you, out of what school taught you. Take yourself out of those old school paradigms, which a lot of people in the world are still in. Okay, you have to remember, a lot of the world is still in these paradigms where what they're told is wrong isn't actually wrong. It's just an old paradigm that's been created out of fear by somebody in the past, in the medieval times, etc. So we have to come into these new realities, these new constructs, and see the world as it really is, as opposed to how we've been taught it is. And this is a big part of the education process. This is one of the reasons why I created this channel, Next Level Awareness, because I want to be part of that process. You know, I want to show people there is an alternative to what they've been told, to what they believe reality is, because believe me, reality is not what you're being taught at school. Okay, reality is constantly evolving with us, because everything we see around us is a mere reflection of our perception. Okay, everything is a reflection of our perception. So reality changes with our perception. Okay, our perception doesn't change with reality. So you have to realize that, guys. And yeah, if you're in the present moment and you choose fear, then that's going to create fear from the past and the future as well. But if you're in the present moment, you choose joy, you choose to look at things with beauty, you choose to see things in a new light, you start to enjoy being in the present moment, that then creates the divine order in this matrix that constructs itself to match that present moment awareness. So it's also changing your past and your future, and then because of this, you're going to create a future that's going to be a lot better than what you would if you were in a fear state. And this is what people need to realize. This is why people need to stop watching the news, because it's all negative, negative, negative. And this is why people need to wake up to controlling their own reality, rather than letting the outside influences, other people's parallel realities that you're seeing through glass, by the way. You're seeing it all through glass, because a lot of you guys watching this are not on that level of awareness anymore. It's still there to observe, because it has to be there to observe so that you can continue increasing your levels of awareness. Thank you. And yeah, so that's what we need to do, guys. Just enjoy being in the moment, be in the now, enjoy the now, and then you're going to enjoy the future, because it all works simultaneously, and it's all happening right now. Everything that's possible is happening right now, simultaneously. Our perceptions just flicking through them, and we're learning by this experience here in this reality. So that's it, guys. Please like this video, subscribe, and thank you for listening to me today, guys. I'll be back shortly with another video as soon as I learn something new. I'll tell you what the universe tells me. Have a nice day, guys.